Hey everybody, Tanya from Shooting Star SVG back, and today I'm going to discuss how to create word art in Silhouette Studio. So if this is your first time here, go ahead and click on like and subscribe below, as that does keep me motivated to continue making these videos so that way you can grow your business and change your life. I had a question recently in my Facebook group about how to create word art in different programs, and so I thought I would kind of walk through a few examples of how to do that. I'm going to perform some in Silhouette Studio, some in Affinity Designer, and some in Inkscape, showing you some of the tools that each program has to offer. Now, the process itself can be a little bit tedious and time consuming, but once you get the hang of it, and once you learn how to manipulate the text and the different shapes, it really shouldn't be too bad, okay? So just keep that in mind as you're going through the process. Everything does have a bit of a learning curve, and that's just to be expected. You can really tailor these techniques to your particular style, so that's good. I don't think it's something that's ridiculously saturated. A lot of people call this also different types of typography designs. Kit Leah has a lot of really popular typography designs that she hand draws, which are really cool. In any case, I just wanted to go through a couple examples. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull up the Facebook post about this, and this was posed, a while back at the beginning of March, and I apologize for the delay. I just got a new computer, just settling into the house. Work has been crazy, but anyways, basically they asked how to create these word image designs because they'd like to learn this and maybe make it a niche if it works out. This idea really kind of spoke to her particularly. Now, while I think this might be a copyright issue, this seems like something that anybody can really do with the right fonts, and it looks like even some of these may be hand lettered. But I'm going to go ahead and attempt to do this live with y'all. And so I have Silhouette Studio open. I'm going to go ahead and draw out the heart. Where the heck did it go? There it is. And whoop, going to move that into the middle of the screen. I'm going to make it transparent, and I'm going to bring the stroke up to 15, maybe 10, so that we can see the outline of this heart. Okay. Usually when I do something like this, how I start out is I will just type out what words I want to put in here or phrases I want to put in here, and then try to manipulate them to fit the space. So in this case, we're going to have love the life you live and live the life you love. I'm going to go ahead and do it in a script-based font, and I'm going to type out each word individually. So love the life you live and live the life you love. Live the. I'm just going to do this, love, and boop, boop, copy and paste. Okay, so we have our basic text here, and I'm just going to go ahead and change the color because it's going to drive me crazy to see all those unwelded shapes. And you can see that they've kind of manipulated it to fit in this heart shape. So I'm just going to change the color of this stroke actually to red so it's not distracting me. And I'm just going to do this. Love. And you're going to see some blank spaces in here. Now, I do not recommend, ever, copying somebody's design like this verbatim, okay? So, love, because it is not ours to take. And so while you can gain inspiration, you cannot copy this design because it is a likeness, okay? And we'll do the same thing over here. Basically, you're just manipulating the text so that it will fit into the spaces that you are trying to fit it into, okay? And it looks like this person who designed this, again, it really just looks like something that's hand-lettered, had included different shapes in here. So for the purposes of this, I am going to oh god, it's so ugly looking. Basically they're filling in this box here. Now, if you want to manipulate your text, you can click on warp and you can utilize the warp function to bring text up and move it around. I don't necessarily recommend this because I'm pretty sure it drives font creators insane when people manipulate their fonts, because then it doesn't, you know, it doesn't look like what they necessarily created when they started with the actual design. And so you just want to be careful, because especially with the script text, it can really like move stuff to the point where you can't really understand what it's saying. Like this one, I know that it says live, but I'd really have to look at it. As we all know, font choice matters, right? So you just go through and you kind of manipulate things to get them to where you want them to go by utilizing tools like the warp tool. There's also, okay, so there's also another tool that I can go over really quickly. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to where all the letters are lined up. And what you can do, and what Silhouette Studio will do, is it will take, okay, it will take, where is it? All of your words and put them in the boundary. So you select your shape. In this case, I'm just going to downsize this a little bit and I'm going to move it up. And you click set selected shape as boundary. And then you can click on only shapes on media and then click nest. Well, I don't have any shapes on the media because they're all out of the media. And you can click on nest, and this is when you just have random words hanging about, and it will fit the words into the shape. I forgot to weld everything, and so it just separated all the letters on me. So let me try this again. Okay, nest. I meant to select everything here. Nest. And it will just shove all the words in here, okay? So it can be a very useful tool if you have multiple words that you're trying to fit into a shape. So that's one way to do it, all right? But you don't have to do that if you don't want to. But it's just another option for you to utilize. So I can get out of this nesting panel now and I'll close out the shape. I'm going to open up an example of let's see, sports and outdoors. The soccer subway art, where I just used a square and put a bunch of words in there that I thought fit for that particular application. So you can make it simple or you can make it a little bit more complicated. When you get into more of the swirly, twirly shapes, it can be a little harder. Another trick that is out there is you can draw a circle and go ahead and just convert this to path. Make it transparent. I'm going to increase my length stroke. And show you all what this looks like. For this, you have to have your text in the text form because you're going to need this cursor here. And what you do is you drag it over to your actual shape and it will attach itself. And you can drag it around the outside. You can also, this can be a little bit sensitive, drag it to the inside if that's something that you want to do, or you can bring it back to the outside. There's also this little cursor here, so you can bring the text out. This will start separating if you're using a script text, and then pushing words closer together if you're using a script. So it doesn't really work ridiculously well for script text, because obviously you want to make sure that your letters are combined. But if you bring it out like this, I'm pretty sure, we'll go ahead and test this, you can bring your character spacing down, although it doesn't look very good. So, not something I necessarily recommend, but you can like let go of that, and then to get it to where it needs to go, you just click on Convert to Path, and it will release itself from the circle, and then you just weld as appropriate, and it's still words on a shape, okay? So there's a couple tools that you can use to manipulate your fonts. You can also use the warp tool, or the curve tool, the conical warp, or the warp tool. So those are a few different tools that you can use to get the desired results. I know this hasn't been like the best of explanation, but it really just depends on what your style is and what you're trying to manipulate. So if you just go to Google, and I already had Google open, oh my gosh, Word Subway Art, and you click on images, you can see all the different types of stuff that's out there. And it's a lot of different things. And you can see a lot of these are mostly, you know, square designs, but you can see here that they have like this social worker one where they've warped the text to kind of go around the heart. And these kinds of things are generally pretty popular. Most people keep them pretty boxy, okay? You can also type in different types of typography SVG. So typography SVG will come up with a few things. But really that's going to come up with Kit Leah stuff because she's all over the place. But so if you Google Subway Art, you'll see a lot of different things. Word Subway Art in heart, and you can, you know, really grind down to what that looks like, and it will show you different types of ways to go about that. But a lot of the times what you'll see, and this is a good example, is you'll see one main word, one main focus word, and a bunch of other words around it. I do not recommend song lyrics. I don't recommend, you know, quotes from TV shows or movies or whatever the heck else is out there, because that will infringe on copyright and trademark, and that is not something that we want to do. This is one way to do it. I'm going to create my next video on how to do this in Inkscape. It's a very similar approach to Silhouette Studio, and then I'll also go through it in Infinity Designer, so definitely look for that in the future. And if you have any questions, let me know. I know this isn't like the most in-depth tutorial, but it kind of gives you the basic tools in Silhouette Studio that can get you to where you want to go without kind of doing it for you, I guess. So if you have any questions, please drop a comment in the comments box below. Head on over to the Facebook group and join up. We're a like-minded community of individuals looking to grow our semi-passive income with digital downloads. We're more than happy to help you there. And if you got something out of this video, please go ahead and click on like and subscribe below, as that keeps me motivated to continue making these videos, so that way you can grow your business and change your life. With that being said, I will catch you all on the next video, and if you need anything, let me know. So keep on crafting, you crazy animals. I'm probably going to delete that out. It was a bad catchphrase.